Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that glitch. I am Banani Roy Chowdhury from the Institute of Applied Technology for Boys. And my presentation for today is a report on, on artificial intelligence to replace teachers for grading students' academic essays. Now, why artificial intelligence? I'm sure today many of you who are sitting here will agree with me that as teachers, we spend countless hours in correcting essays. And to grade them, to check them, to give them feedback is highly stressful and strenuous. So what do we do? But the power of artificial intelligence is such that technology can do these time-consuming tasks consistently and objectively in a fraction of a second. It can give immediate formative feedback and evaluate students' writing. So if the machine can do that, why not make use of it? So in that case, we need to know what is artificial intelligence. Just a minute. It is an intelligence that is substantiated by machines as opposed to natural intelligence. Now, as a teacher, whenever I talk about artificial intelligence, or more commonly known as AI, I try to associate it with education and explore how the power of AI can optimize teaching and benefit the teachers. Now, just a minute, I can see something over here. Okay, as teachers, all of us, we know that AI is very popular in the world of business. To some extent, it has taken charge of the world of medicine. But what about education? We as teachers, we struggle a lot while teaching, while correcting papers and doing so many things. So if the machine can do something for us, then we win the world. So AI is based on machine learning that teaches computers to think in a similar way how humans do. So it works by exploring data and identifying patterns that involves minimum human intervention. So that takes us to the next slide. What is data? Data is information used as a basis for reasoning, discussion, or calculation. A data collection is the process of gathering and measuring information from countless different sources. Anything can be data. Every type of feedback given to students' work is data, and which helps us to get the variables. And from the variables, we are able to identify the problems and frame a solution. So this is the concept. We have a problem. We try to use artificial intelligence. If we have to use the machine to solve our problem, we have to get the data. And once data is ready, machine is ready to explore it. So that takes us to my data. I had a problem. I told you at the beginning of the presentation that I wanted machine to correct my essays. So my data was to get AI-supported software to auto-grade essays. That was my objective, that I want the machine to do my work. To auto-grade academic essays was quite challenging. Initially, I didn't realize it. I started this project when I was doing my training on artificial intelligence. And that was the time when I wanted to explore this area. After starting, I realized I opened a Pandora's box. It was an enormous work. I had to collect hundreds of essays and create my data bank. The whole process was so rigorous, and most of my energy went in collecting, organizing, grading, and structuring data. Now, if I have to get the machine do my work, I have to create digital data, because handwritten data will not help. Now, I started my project in the year 2019. And the worst part was After I started the project, within 2 weeks, they declared COVID lockdown. Those days we had handwritten essays. Everything was sit and write, face-to-face classes. Now I was doing it very jubilantly. Within 2 weeks, overnight, we have to shift to online. Now, online teaching, after 2 years, now the way I talk, it is much different as we started in the year 2019. So that was one of my setbacks. Anyway, I didn't give up. I started working on my data. I had hundreds of essays, all the handwritten essays, one by one, I started typing. And after typing, I have to categorize them. So for that, I needed a rubric. I created my data, I created my rubric, and I started grading my essays into 3 categories. I had 3 categories: good, satisfactory, bad. Now, since I was trying to find out a machine to do, categorize the essays, I didn't go for the subcategories too much because that would again make me do more work. So just the basic 3 categories I had. So I started grading the essays and grading them as good, satisfactory, and bad based on the rubric. This itself took, how many months, I can't tell you. And this is just a screenshot of my rubric. I adapted this rubric from, because we are familiar with IELTS, MSAT, TEFL, TWE. So all those sort of things, wherever we had rubrics, I took bits and pieces and I created my own unique rubric. And based on this, I started grading my essays. I had 4 areas: task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resources, and grammatical range. Now, I can't show you all the data due to paucity of time. What I have done, I took screenshots of my data and I created a unique video just for 20 seconds. You can have an idea how I worked on it. So that was an idea of my data. Now, after getting everything ready and segregating them, I started looking out for vendors because I need somebody to help me with the software, to find out a software which could code, decode, and all these. To reach this stage, it took a long time. And as I've told you, my next step was to look out for technology to solve the problem. I started looking out for vendors to get this, to feed the machine with my parameters, the areas that I would want the machine to do, to check. And I started working on it. But the bad news is nobody was there to help me. Nobody could, I had many people who came, who met with me. Either they would say, okay, I will get back to you, or they would ask for a huge amount of money. So I was in a dilemma whether to go ahead with my project or to abort it. So what I did when I was discussing all these with my students, my grade 12 students who go for computer science and artificial intelligence, in our institute, we have that subject. So they said, Miss, let us try. Give us a chance. Let's see if we can manage to do something for you. I said, fine, if you can do, there's nothing better than that. And they started working on it. After 2 weeks, they came running to me, Miss, sorry, Miss, it is impossible. Hundreds of essays, and to go through each essay, coding, decoding, impossible. It is eating away all our time. So what to do? I gave up. I can't force them. So I slowly changed my approach. I thought, okay, now this will not help me. let me change my approach and see if I can search the internet and find out a way. So I started looking out for websites or applications which could help me in auto-grading essays. And I remember in 2020, I didn't travel to India, and I stayed back during the summer. I invested my summer holidays in looking out for technology. And these are the shortlisted websites that I explored, which has AI-powered, technology which can grade essays. Well, Grammarly you can see, but Grammarly can't grade essays. It can only proofread, which many of us use. The best one was Pearson's Assessment. Pearson's Assessment, I collaborated with them for 1 month. I back and forth. We went on writing emails, and they said, because their website is really informative and good. After talking for 1 month, they said, sorry, Ms. Banani, we can't provide you the license because for individual people, we can't do. Only if your school applies, we can do. I said, this is my personal project. Why is it that you can't help me? Then I went to Paperator. I gave up. Finally, I moved on to Write and Improve, a Cambridge-sponsored website, which has all the facilities that I was looking out for to grade auto essays. This is how the website looks. You have to sign up, and there are predefined essays. You can get the students work on it, and as they do, the AI, the artificial intelligence, corrects it, grades them, comments it, and gives a graph. You can see I have created my own workbook and I give them, but then this is paid version. Only if it is paid, they give me the chance to go through it more and I can see the students' work. But the best part is my students really enjoyed working on it. A sneak peek of how they are working on it. So that was how they worked on AI. And I've got a bit of data and I've analyzed it. There were a number of activities I gave them, but I've taken the 5 unique ones which I wanted to share. The best part is there was a marked improvement in their writing skills. I was able to solve 2 problems. One was the system, the technology was grading them. I didn't have to invest my time in grading and giving them feedback. And at the same time, I found that their attitude towards writing skill changed. The website is so interesting that they developed the interest of writing more and more. And in the long run, I could see that their writing skills improved. So I was able to solve 2 things. I started with saving my time, machine would grade. And secondly, I added up one more solution, that is they were able to improve their writing skills. So this is how I worked on my AI project. I'm still working on it because this is 2nd semester. I'm trying to find out a vendor, and a couple of people spoke to me. Hopefully in the next season when I meet you, I'll be able to give you a better scene how I'm working on my AI project. With that, I wind up. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any question, you can ask me.
I can see in the chat box there are 2 comments. One from Ms. Maria Rosa. Checking evaluation and assessment activities are tiring, especially writing activities. Another comment from Mr. Muhammad. AI so far cannot sort out meaning of a text successfully, since it's difficult to replace mind to identify its concepts. Do you have any comment about it, Ms. Banani?
Yeah, I'm just trying to read the question that so far we cannot sort out meanings of a text. Yes, successfully, since it's difficult to replace the mind. Yes, Mr. Muhammad, it is a very challenging thing because each and every word has to be coded and then the machine has to be fed. Like good essays, if a machine has to recognize good essays, I have to go on feeding the machine with only good essays, and it has to be not 100, tons and tons of essays. Finally, whenever I scan a good essay, it will generate, yes, it is good. It's an enormous task. And after taking the initiative, I started regretting whether I'm really doing the right thing. And as you said, that sometimes machine technology has a glitch. When I see that there is a glitch, it is obvious it can happen. I glide in and I do it manually and I correct it. But the basic part is taken by the machine, by the technology.